get any of my intro? Do you want my computer?
No, just so
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Here we are with Off the Wall Graffiti, immersed in art. Recording? Yeah? Hi. Hello. Welcome. This is Off the Wall Graffiti, immersed in art. Today we are speaking with Sept. So get your phones out, go to Instagram and follow at Sept, I believe, right?
Septerhed. My nickname is Sept. I use Septerhed because Sept is not a very original name to search for on the internet.
Yeah.
Because it means the month of September,
Oh,
among other
which
things.
you were born in. Oh, that's right. We share birthdays.
Yeah, I was, but that had nothing to do with choosing my name, I'd like to say.
Okay. Nice. All right. So yeah, go follow him on Septerhed. What else? You're going to be talking about a this or that.
We'll be talking about a couple different things. I think this or that it can be explored quite a bit. There's like a bunch of stories from the art world. What is the profane? Okay.
Go for it. All your stories, and you can be as you need to be, because we've had other people on here be as even talk smack about people on here. They have. We haven't edited them yet, so maybe I'm wrong. For now, you can tell whatever story you need to.
Okay. Well, being an artist is kind of like having a small business, and when you have a small business, you deal with a lot of different types of people that don't all follow the same protocol when it comes to working with artists. There's a certain level of professionalism that is kind of foolish to expect from, across the board, but when you're working with major conventions or festivals or something like the LA Art Show, which is a pretty big deal. It's been going on for a long time. It happens once a year. It's massive. They make a lot of money off of artists. It's kind of fun to go to. I've been invited to it twice to participate. One time was with Dr. Jim Dyshent. I was featured in a show there called Vices and Virtues.
Yes,
it was really cool. I was really happy to be a part of it. The second time was doing live painting for a company called The Agency.
Okay.
$1 million homes, multi-million-dollar homes. It was a good event. It was interesting to me. I'm going to cut off from that a little bit and go back to the original topic.
Yeah.
The agency, I was honored to be invited. It was a struggle to convince them to pay us literally anything to do probably, I don't know, in my range, $1,000 to $1,500 worth of work to make their booth look cool. Like I said,
How'd they find you?
They probably asked someone, do you know what street art is? And they're like, yeah, check this guy out. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really ask people how they find me because I don't know, and I don't really care too much.
Well, I only asked by way of measuring the level of effort it took to find you versus their lack of desire to pay you.
Well, they don't really match up. They don't really care. It's not about, we're artists can be seen as dispensable. We're generally viewed as people that enjoy to make art, and we don't ask for money, and we don't ask for, things that most people get when they do business with you. But, it was fine. We did the event. It was cool. The artist, Jennifer Corson, was painting next to me.
I know her. I think
Yeah.
you know her.
Yeah, we put in a lot of work. It was really cool, and made their booth look really hip and awesome. And they had a talk afterwards, and it was very interesting because I believe the talk was something along the lines of artists getting respect, and somehow came up the topic of being paid for their work. And it was very ironic that the person hosting the talk had no idea that he was basically taking advantage of the fact that artists are very hungry and we like to do things. We always think there's a chance that if we work, because sometimes when you do jobs, you get you'll get like, well, this didn't do anything, this didn't do anything, but then every once in a while you get something that leads to something else, and it's just part of like you wanna be creative, and like they take advantage of that a lot. And no one wants to talk about it because they're like, oh man, you don't want to seem ungrateful. Oh man, you don't want to like, be unhappy. But the reality is that I'm at a point in my career where I really don't give a fuck what people think about me. I've done most things that I've wanted to do. So if I'm burning bridges, I hope that they'll light the way. The agency
I've never heard that.
Was a multi-million-dollar company. They gave us a pretty cool opportunity, but we had to basically convince them to pay us 35% of what we would normally charge. And then to top it off, they had to talk about, respectful business practices within paying artists of some sort.
Right, like the oxymoronic side.
I finished off that talk with, I kind of grabbed the microphone at the end, and I convinced the people that were on stage. I said, you know what, don't let people tell you that you're being a sellout because you're being paid for the work you do. You don't call a plumber a sellout because he charges you to fix your toilet.
Right.
And I felt pretty good about that. But moving back to the art show, 2016, Jim Dyson, Vices and Virtues. Jim is a lovely character. I love him. He's very nice. He's done a lot for my career and many of my friends. He's been very respectful the whole time. He's been very professional. He's very passionate. Awesome dude. Stand up. But then there's the LA Art Show. The LA Art Show contains a multifaceted diagram of, I want to say pyramid, but not really. Bunch of different people that are contracted yearly to work there. No one that works for them on it, because it's a once a year show.
Yeah.
No one that works for them on a yearly basis claims to really be a part of the organization. The people that are a part of the organization don't really respond to people that write them emails. The problem is
anybody running it?
No one wants to take the blame. So we did a big wall for them. We live painted, Jennifer and I had live painted for them. And we were told without a doubt that the panels would be painted over after the show.
Okay.
We're like, cool, we did this, we did it for free. It was a last minute thing. We didn't get a contract, nothing. So it's fine. As of right now, the issue has not been resolved in a manner that has made myself or the artist Jennifer Corson happy, because last year the panels were displayed. There was two panels. No
way.
Yeah,
they brought them back out as
somebody did something, but they not only were they not supposed to have them, but they were not supposed to be displayed. We were not notified. We were not given credit. And now that we're falling back and trying to work our way into the organization and talk to people, no one wants to give us the time of day. We've had a couple people go ghosting. They've ghosted on us, which is basically a professional term for being a fucking prick.
Right.
You write someone an email and everything's fine, and all of a sudden they just stop talking to you. We haven't been rude, we haven't been ungrateful, we haven't been unprofessional. We've been very polite and very matter of fact. And if we were a bigger artist, they would take the time, or if we had sent them a letter from our lawyer, they would be like, "Oh yeah, let's take care of this." But it's been a struggle. We're working with one person now who's been the most respectful out of all of them, and hopefully we'll get some.
Rectify.
Yeah, but it's interesting because these pieces could go from anywhere from literally, we've had collab pieces go for around $20,000. But because it's not a big enough problem for anyone, emails go ignored. No one has answers for us. It's been going on for almost 3 months now, trying to just get someone to say, "Oh, we had the pieces, they were displayed, we're sorry. Here's the pieces back. The pieces have been painted over. Here's proof." Just literally.
What?
Basic communication.
But did they actually paint over them?
We don't know anything really.
Because
no one will answer us.
Yeah.
So biggest art show in LA on a yearly basis. Right. Basically, I'm sure we're not the first artists that do, but posting our work without our permission, without notification, and then we're getting pictures of it. Hey, look, your work's up, and it's like, we didn't say anything about that, you know?
Right.
We were totally cool with it if they would have said, we saw it and we were happy, we're like, oh, cool, they're showing our work. But then when we tried to talk to them about it, the respect level went down to 0 because they wouldn't even talk to us about it.
Right.
So naturally, we're like, okay, it went from being cool to fuck you, you're showing our work without our permission, and you won't even address the issue. So we're battling through it now. I really don't want to go the lawyer route. I say that like it's an option. The reality is I don't have $10,000 to throw to get someone to respond to an email. But it's just really sad that
And fracture people.
But
like
you know, if you
fracture
look at
atlas
if you
don't
look at
have
if you look at art, it's a business. It's
Yeah.
really a business. The LA Art Show is not this passionate like underground roots thing. Where I mean, people get opportunities, people show there. It's an experience, sure, but the experience that I've had with it this year has not been good. So, you know, there's that.
And the people who ran it 2 years ago when you did your.
No one still works there. That was well. We have one person that we found that was there when the thing happened and now, when it was originally painted to now.
Right.
But what I'm
But they probably have no connections to money.
well, I just think that like what happened is like some workers found the panels because the person didn't keep their word. The person that said they would be painted over was not there when the thing was disassembled.
Right.
They were too busy to say, hey, these have to be painted over. So the guys that set up the art show, which is a completely different thing, were like, oh, let's take down this wall.
And some creative
Stacked
director
for-
was like, these are cool.
Well, I don't
They're
even
in
think
our
no
hands.
one even noticed them. I think the workers stacked them in a pile. They sat there for 2 years, and then 2018, they're putting up the same walls that they've been putting up for 4 or 5 years, or whatever. And they pulled out the stack, and they're like, "Oh, let's put this up."
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure no one knew about it. But the fact that we knew about it, and we said, "Hey, this has happened," and no one's really given us,
Any time of
we've
day,
had a lot
yeah.
of troubles with it, and we've lost a lot of friends. I don't want to say friends. We've lost our respect for people that could have helped us.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of people that have attempted to help us, but not really in a productive way. We've had 2 people ghost on us, and now we're waiting for the third to disappear. But
As it goes.
we're just asking, like, what's up with the
Just
peace,
basic
man?
stuff,
You know, we don't
yeah.
want to like cause trouble. We just want. If that happened to any other artist that had a publicist or anything else, I mean, obviously we're artists, but we're not like on the level. We're like, oh, we better take care of that,
But-
and that's the sad thing. It's like
Right.
we've been in your show 2 years in a row, and you won't even give us the fucking time of day. Like, fuck you, dude.
Right.
Like, straight up.
Well, and it's disheartening too. I'm thinking about my daughter who's just graduated and will be coming out as a professional artist, and I'm like, how does helicopter mom come in and protect something like that? And like,
Good luck.
what is it? Like, what is there anything you guys now think about differently with stuff like that? Like,
I mean,
or
we try
is
to be
it
cool.
so in your face.
We
that it's
made
like, you couldn't even see
I
this
try to make
problem?
an agreement now that I won't work unless I have a contract, and I've been really good at it lately. I won't even like start to mock anything up.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you want to be nice, and you think people will be cool, and you want to be cool, and like I honestly think that this problem, like the problem that I'm having with it, is not even on their radar. Meaning, like, dude, these people won't go away. Like, it's a big deal to me because it's my life, it's my work, and
Right.
it's a big deal to Jennifer because we're professionals and it's our work. It's our work. We put our time into it.
Right.
But I just don't think that they even think about it. But it's still an issue. It's
Yeah.
like fucking just talk to people, dude. If
What
they
do
would have
you-
just talked to us, it would be so cool. Like they're just like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll see this, we'll take care of it. But we're having trouble getting that to happen.
Well, okay.
So how about
I have a cube truck. We can totally get your paintings back if
a
they
cube?
have-
A cube track?
yeah, like I have a big ass ambulance now that has
Oh yeah.
that can go for free and go get your walls. I will totally do that. And
Thank you. I appreciate
because
that.
they do represent, if they're not painted over, they do represent the potential for money for you guys. And sorry, my microphone just did a loop-de-loop. And guys, if you can hear the air conditioning in the background, just know that we are so glad it's on. And
Winter in North Hollywood.
yeah, exactly. Even though it's March, it's still hot here. Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay. So, but in the world of being a professional artist, and the thing that like pulled from you more and more is the contracting and the safeguarding for what's the process here? What are you agreeing to? What are they agreeing to? I think is what
Process for what
the
specifically?
contracting or
Writing a contract?
right. Like, well, I connected the learning, if you will, or the like. Now I'm just jerkish about it, but it sounds jerkish, but it's not jerkish to like just say, yes, I'd love to paint. Let's write something down.
Yeah, and
about
that's
it.
the sad thing that society does to creative people is it makes them think that they're not worth asking for basic shit that basically every other business in the world asks for.
I love when you guys use the same analogy about any trade, like any
anything,
service
any
you
small
get,
business owner
yeah.
that does any kind of work, it doesn't matter if it's music, movies, art, fucking crafting, fixing windows. I mean, there needs to be a written agreement. I mean, that's what I was raised. My dad always said, get it in writing, get it in writing. And, you know, it helps to have it in writing because then when the people fuck you over, you can be like, look, this is what they said and this is what they did. And then, because people don't want to enter that arena where people raise their hand and say, hey, I wasn't treated right. I mean, look at this thing with Revoke and H&M that just happened.
Right.
Of course, it's a big deal. Revoke is a well-known graffiti artist. H&M is well-known for ripping people off. Everyone loves to get behind that. But the fact of the matter is a lot of people involved in that are all using copyrighted work in their own work.
Well,
but it's on a different scale.
And that's different too, because that is that weird land of it's in the public. I used to pay for art, photo shoots and stuff, and but I was also, 25 and spending Warner Brothers money, and it didn't occur to me that I was standing in front of someone's artwork and that I should,
Public
pay for
domain
it.
is a tricky spot.
Yeah, and same at Nestle. Like, the lawyers would have to catch that, not the creative director.
Yeah.
In that realm, and hopefully there's some precedent that gets set by things like this. Where it's like, yeah, you owe Revoke. Sorry, you owe you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Geocaching or
any
Pokemon,
business
you owe
is
us.
any business as big as H&M that deliberately doesn't pay an artist for a photo shoot. This should be called out and taken down. Absolutely.
Totally.
I've dealt with a couple artists that have done that. The Jada Smith, Will Smith family, Jada and who the hell's the other one? I think Jada's the main, she had the biggest violation on me that she used my video from the arts. She used I'm mixed up
Background?
now. She used my mural in her video.
Okay.
The video was A sharp something key with the weird bells and drums, and it was a pretty cool video, but she has the money to pay artists. I've been paid by smaller companies than her for usage fees. It's
Right.
not like, if you're in that realm, you know what you're doing. You deal with lawyers and contracts and blah 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 and paying this and paying that.
Totally.
They knew what they're doing and they used it, and it got taken down for a year, and then when everyone stopped thinking about it, they put it back up. And I never got paid and I never got credit for it.
How long ago was that?
That was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I would think you could get a pro bono lawyer to come.
Well,
chase
it was
your
a messy
goods.
situation because the wall directly wasn't mine, so it involved a bunch of other people, and I never heard back what happened from that. And that's another topic that I'm talking on, which is ghosting, where
Right.
people just stop talking to you. And
Is the wall
do
painted over
you
now?
raise your hand and burn everything around you, or you just keep your mouth shut and try to make more art? I
Right.
mean, a lot of things you never really find out what happens to them, but. I
But
was
at a
a much
certain
smaller
point,
artist.
You've got this pile,
Yeah.
and how do you help that pile disappear?
You just gotta bite your lip and keep your head down, man. You gotta be smart, and you gotta just shut up and keep moving, because unless you have money to back yourself up, you're really just creating a lot of negative energy.
Right.
I mean, obviously there's right and there's wrong, but so many people get screwed over every day for shit. It's just like, you don't even know.
And is that the nature of street art, or do you find that in canvas art as well?
All art.
You do.
All art. Yeah.
Okay. I think back to art history and following. I teach from the Impressionists on to kids and what that world was like for them, and who wasn't getting paid, and who was sharing paint, and who were the patrons, and what were the patrons like, and things like that. And I'm just trying to think back, how long has this starving artist kind of mentality been around? And you're right, it's forever.
Yeah.
And the thing that I say is the reason I think it should become a social concern is because nobody knew that Monet was making water lilies while not paying rent and not eating, but sharing, paint with Manet. And yet here we are celebrating it over and over. And there's a certain, I want there to feel a certain amount of shame in that, like we should be, as a society, caring for our artists.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the list goes of things that we need to care about, I would say that's pretty low, as far as humanity goes, but it is important, in some aspect.
But when you reach down and care for the margins, because artists end up in the margins by virtue of not being paid and cared for, they can be the homeless, the ones living in their cars, the ones hopefully on food stamps, and trying to make, they're a subset of those who are at the margins. And
yeah, caring is caring, no matter which direction it's going in. I mean, you got to kind of laugh at it. I mean, the way the art world is. I mean, everything's so puffy and shiny and happy, and everyone's talking about, oh, it's so good, and this career is just, blowing up, and I'm, all those things are important, but I also think it's important for artists to just be real about what's going on. People always look at me, they're like, you're angry, you're an angry person, you're mad. And it's like, I'm none of those things. My default is to investigate things. And if something's not right, if it's a business thing, I'm say, hey, this isn't right. I'm not a dick about it, but so many people just want to avoid that so much. It's like when you go into certain parts of town and you're surrounded by people shooting up on the street, you're like, you don't have any harsh feelings for these people that are doing that, but you also feel uncomfortable looking at it. So you're naturally like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. So it's another one of those topics where, and then if it's nice when a big artist gets, treated that way, because they can talk about it and people are like, yeah, you're right, da-da-da. But then their friend talks about it and they're like, stop whining. You should be happy for what you have. Look at this artist complaining again. It's like, dude, no, it's not like that. This is my life.
Right.
And if you're going to tell me I'm complaining about my life, something that I've invested every waking hour on, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely wrong.
Well, and I think we're seeing where the zeitgeist and the shift is to call things out. And there's, I think, a tolerance now.
It's the only way to deal with them.
it.
It's the only way to deal with them.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's abuse.
Yeah.
In that regard. And it's also artists, in that two-way street, it's educating artists on the professionalism of even from high school level. I think if they reverse and hold the position of you're going to be my client, I'm going to deliver to you, and that's how and get the strength of that mechanism going as the owner of the work that you then hand over, even if you're if you have to learn it even in your family base or whatever. How many times our artists ask, will you do a card? Will you do this or whatever,
Yeah.
And it's like, sure. What's in exchange? Just keep that barter going.
Yeah, I haven't really come across that too much lately, but it's definitely there.
Which the
people asking
exchange.
me that. People don't even want to ask me that because I'll just tear them apart. Every once in a while, people they forget and they'll send. You'll see someone post look what this person asked me to do. For free, and it's just oh, don't you want the exposure? And you're just like, dude, exposure kills people. You don't.
Totally.
I don't need your exposure. I'm giving you exposure. You don't. There's that is a BS comment. The word exposure has been used to manipulate and abuse the creative field since the beginning of time, and it's not a real word. It has no meaning on me. If I'm younger and I'm desperate and I just started, sure, it sounds sweet,
Well, you just mentioned something that was running in my head about. I think there's a difference between when, as artists, we work for free.
For charity.
For ourselves,
if it's charity, I'm all about it. Yeah.
Well, or I got my first job. My portfolio had my friends' band's album packages in it that I had done because I wanted to do my friend's album package. And they didn't have money. And it was in my portfolio and got me my job at Warner Brothers.
But you chose it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is exactly that was exactly my point. Was when we work for free and it's our calling.
Yeah.
Versus being asked.
Yeah. I think it just takes time. There's certain artists now that like you get to a certain level and either people stop asking you to do things, or you're able to like not get offended by being asked to do it for free. But there's so many people that are just so hungry to get into so many various fields that they will do it for free, and they will take the place of your refusal, and they will continue this monster machine of free work. And you can't discount these people's dreams of being hungry and wanting to do things. But at the same time, like in any profession, it just like knocks down like the legitimacy of your work. Because if you're trying to set a precedent, you're like, no, I will not paint your 100-foot wall for free and use my own paint. And then someone's like, I'll do it. And it's just like, dude.
Right.
Like it helps, but you're like, at the same time, like it's hard to separate yourself. Like you either have to stop being a part of those conversations, or try to share knowledge to the people, because I used to be one of those people. I absolutely used to be one of those people because I like to paint.
Well, I think you guys painted here.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it, but when the further along you get in your career, it's like the less. That's funny. I still paint for free, but most of them are my choice. But when it comes to like organizations that are offering you things, and they have money, it's just like it's the respect, It's hard to like deal with people like that, and they just have no idea. Like people don't know how to work with artists, and either they don't or they're just bad people. I'm willing to go in the middle on that.
Well, and they don't know the ripple effect. They don't know the ripple effect of you not being paid.
Yeah.
Like,
can we talk about this or that for a second?
We totally can. Let's so yay, we just had a whole I kind of feel like that's an M2R mentoring and mastery thing that we just got into, because it was about the professionalism of doing your work and stuff like that. So let's close this one whole loop of conversation for M2R and say yay and thank you, and we're gonna come back and talk about something else for another one with you. So we'll totally have you back, and we'll just say goodbye for now, and you guys will clap with me and say bye.
Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for listening. We're really glad you tuned in. Immersed in Art was recorded 2 years ago in 2018. I'm really sorry it's taken me so long to edit these. I want to thank our sound engineer, Jacob Baumgartner. I want to thank all of the guests who have waited so long for their words to be heard. They are important, and we hope to do more. If you liked this, please subscribe, share, and also if you want to be a part of it, just send me an email, maura@offthewallgraffiti.org, or hit us up on any of the socials. And I want to do an extra special shout out to Luciano West, who created that amazing theme song. He came over to the house one day, dropped some beats. Avery McCarthy got on bass and I got on the spray cans, and we made that beat. I think it's awesome. I hope you like it. And yeah, listen up. Let's do more of these.
Talk over my pot, dude.
That's the serious.